welcome to this month's episode of Is It Broke? Is it fixable? Or just plain durable? Well, let's dive right in. After a little bit of scallybanning in the wild west of auction world the other week, we have some machines here we want to test out and break into, so let's get into it. First on our list is this Sony Super Beta Hi-Fi VCR. Oh, coincidentally, there wasn't a remote for this, but thank goodness the remote from my Beta VCR works just Jim Dandy with this one. Let's see if it works. This VCR also has some very interesting features, like stop motion, and flash motion. It has picture art as well, not quite really sure what that does. Has the Hi-Fi and Super Beta switch for selector. This was obviously used on more than just the homeowner wanting to watch movies or home movies level. This was more on an editing level, but a very good buy and a very good choice. Well, we said about that wonderful noise that the tape player makes when it loads a tape and unloads it. Let's take the cover off and have a closer look at a working beta player. Using our handy dandy Serviceman's Toolbox. So here we go. Power is on. Putting the tape in. Here we go. And when you press stop, it stops. Rewind. On some models, when you put it into rewind or fast forward, it actually takes it off of the video head. And then eject. Lots of moving mechanical parts in there. This is your power supply here. This is your, I believe, your RF converter here. All kinds of moving parts. So that's a wrap for that VCR, the Mr. Beta. We have here a symphonic VCR from one of our viewers who asked us to take a look at it. We plugged it in. Let's see if it will do anything. Let's see, when we push the power button, nothing happens. Let's see if we can try and put a tape in it. Well, the tape goes in, but it does not load. So thus, we're going to dive right into see what's wrong with this VCR. Hopefully, it's just a fuse. So, here we go. Hi-ho, hi-ho. It's off to tearing the VCR cover off we go. Keeping track of all the screws when messing with these things is very cumbersome at times. Sometimes you end up with parts and you're like, where did that go? But as long as the VCR works, you're like, I'm not going to worry about it. Wonder if this one's ever been apart before. That screw had a good snap to it. Oh, there we go. I'm checking to see if the fuse is still good. I can't see it down in there. Oh, there we go. Not exactly the way I wanted to do it, but oh well. It would appear the fuse is still good, so unfortunately it's not the fuse. Another thing to look for is bulging capacitors, which I don't really see any bulging capacitors. Actually, since we have it open, let's plug it in and see if it does anything now. Ah, we've got it doing something. The head actually moved a little bit, so I know it does something. So that makes me wonder. Sometimes just unplugging something for 10 seconds and plugging it back in works. You can see this is the RF modulator for this model. Look how small that is compared to an earlier model. They were much bigger earlier on. We are still trying to disassemble this a bit. These things have a tendency to break always if you're not careful. Hey, success! So, looky here, this is the complete motor assembly of the VCR. The head, the motor that runs it, the motors that run it. And this one actually has a belt on it. Some of them are belt driven, some are driven by motors. The belt is good. This one actually wasn't too bad to tear apart. This is the processing board that runs the VCR in underneath the movement carriage. Let's see if I can put this back together. I don't think I'm going to be able to fix this today. I think it's got a few other issues, but we'll plug it in and see what it does. Nope, it's still dead. So, I have to wonder if it wasn't my extension cord. I put it in one of the other plugs and wiggled the cord a bit, and now I have power. So let's put a tape in and see what it does. After I make sure that I have this where it's supposed to be, which it is, let's see what it does. Well, we've made progress. It loads a tape, and then it spits it back out. So we'll revisit that at a later point. But we've made progress. That is encouraging. So in this case, this is one of those that it's not going to be a super simple fix like just fixing the fuse. So we'll set this aside for now, and we'll revisit it at a later point. So we have here an SVHS player, Super VHS, the Studio Industrial model. Let's see if it does anything.
A few moments later.
So we see what our issue is here. It won't load the tape and play, which means it's probably a power issue. So let's dive into taking the cover off. Well, we did get a blue screen for just a second, so that's a little bit of progress. But it does not appear to want to stay on for a hoot. So here we go. This thing has 4 fuses on it. I can't really see the one. The reason that's running slow is because these electrolytic capacitors over time don't keep their charge, sort of like a battery, and they most likely need something in there needs replaced. It's really being naughty. And we're kind of ruining the tape a bit. Yep, it broke the tape. We're going to put this back together for now. And we're going to say that this is a tape-eating machine. That's a wrap for today. Thanks for joining us. I guess in today's episode you would say the "Is it broke to be continued" has been the theme of the day. Minus Mr. Beto, which is just plain durable.
Oh, come here. He doesn't like being held. Oh, and he loves it when you scrape his belly. Come here. Kitty, 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 kitty.
Doesn't like the tape. I'll have to try a different one. Nope, this one's also got power supply issues. I know to get it to work the last time was funny. Okay. It started and then it stopped and shut off. It says it's on auto, which I don't know what that means. See, it can't even fast forward. You'll find that's the problem with a lot of VCRs, is the power supply and sensors needing cleaned, etc. So that would be the case with this one. No reindeer games for us. Guess Christmas isn't coming this year. Oh shucks. Oh, hello. Welcome to another episode of Is It Broke? Is It Fixable? Or Just Plain Durable? Just looking at a few stereo slides there, though it doesn't do me much good because I'm not going to see it in 3D. Though those things were quite fascinating, and up until about 10 years ago you could still actually buy new slides. So, we're going to try and revisit our broken VCRs to see if we can make any progress with them. And we also have another VCR, and we're going to see if it actually works. We're also going to touch on tape rewinders. So we found out our symphonic VCR that we said we would revisit at a later date was the end of the era of VCR where they were just cranking out complete and utter bullcaca. So we're going to have a little fun destroying this thing. And I think that'll do it. And we remember this Mitsubishi model BV1000 SVHS player. It seems to have power issues, which is probably capacitors. It has all kinds of different outputs on the back. Your standard coaxial, your standard composite. Of course, it has S-video, and then it has the standard broadcasting type, which the name is escaping me at the moment. So it's quite a well-built unit, and Mitsubishi makes a good product, so it's a wonder it doesn't work, but we'll put it down to those leaky electrolytic capacitors. Well, let's put reindeer games back in and see if it does anything. Ha ha ha. So it makes a grunting noise, and that's about all it does. And then it shuts off. Oh, it almost took it in. And it spits it right back out. So So that could be a sensor issue. Oh, it went in that time. Pushed play and nothing happened and the power went back off. So now we turn the power back on. Let's try fast forward. Nope. Will it eject the tape? No, it does not want to eject that tape. It says, I'm hungry. I want that tape. Yum, 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 yum. Generally, if you're trying to reset something, you use the 10-second rule. Well, we'll tear this apart to get reindeer games out, and then we'll probably call it a day with this one. Look how nice and complex that is down in there. The thing has 4 fuses, but we already visited that last time and found that the fuses were all good. I'm assuming that's a ground. Probably won't play nice without its ground. The nice thing about SVHS is that you can play, it gives you a better quality and it's a different tape, but you can also play regular VHS tapes. So don't make the mistake of trying to play an SVHS tape in a regular VCR because it will not play nice. The belts are good. Oh, that's right. We're slowly getting it. Minus the fact that tape is still stuck in load mode. There we go. See, this little solenoid pushes that out and then the motor sits there and keeps running, and that's what runs it back and forth. And we got it out without breaking the tape. It's a little crinkled, but it's in the trailer section, so that doesn't matter. We're going to put this back together, and it probably needs to go see the VCR doctor. Which fortunately we still have a couple VCR doctors around here. So that's all for this model. This particular model has not been tested yet. So we're going to give it a test. And we're just going the coaxial route today. And it's always a pain in the butt when you're in tight spaces and you're sitting there trying to screw these. So these little handy dandy connectors, they come in handy because you take it, you screw it in, and then all you have to do is push it in instead of twist it in. So much easier. Okay. Power on. Let's put a tape in and see what it does.
This fall from the studios of Big Idea. Join an epic quest with a fearless band of adventure. I give you the Fellowship of the Bees! Here's an exclusive look behind the scenes of VeggieTales' Lord of the Bees.
Well,
How he's supposed to use that.
the VCR is working fine. It's the TV that's not playing nice. So, we're going to take a brief pause and we're going to try the composite cables. These are a very nice set of cables. They were VCR dubbing cables. Let's see if it makes a difference on the TV now. I think the heads need cleaned.
I'll take that off your hands. You won't be needing chocolate where you're going, rapscallion.
So we will put in a new tape to do that job.
When he came to the end, he said, "This is Walter Cronkite." We thought, well, if he can't even pronounce his name, not by himself, is this part here?
Well, we're going to leave that run for a bit, and we'll move on to something else and come back to it. It may just also be, since it's an SVHS, that it's playing it in black and white.
Mini cams and a little bit of radio on the side. That actually I wasn't going to.
Oh, there we go. We got some color.
I'm afraid I dropped out of college, much to my regret, ever since. In 1936, I moved back to Kansas City.
So the heads just did need cleaned a bit.
Small radio station called KCMO.
Can you see the color?
One of the most exciting football games. I'd be in the studio receiving sketchy little telegraph reports from the stadium. Brown's carrying the ball. He's right in the middle of that pile up. He couldn't.
Does that look better?
It looks like about.
We got our color back, so mission completed. We figured it out. If you want a better quality than coaxial, you have to have the other type of cable that, like I said, is used in the broadcasting industry, which that name's escaping me. I did know it at one point. Maybe we'll share that useless piece of information in a later episode. There are adapters for taking that and making it into a coaxial output. However, I don't know if there's an adapter to make it a component output.
It seems kind of strange now that they don't write on television.
So, mission success. Well, we're going to take another look at this VCR. I don't know if we had time in our last video or not. I know that it has issues too. This is more of a home model SVHS player with your S-video cord input and output there for better video quality. This one, however, does have composite outputs on the back for video, though we'll just stick with coaxial. Interestingly, this thing even has a spot for a cable box to connect to it. Right now I'm trying to figure out how to take it off. And it's not playing. There we go. Well, let's try reindeer games again, since we don't want to destroy VeggieTales.
Eventually.
Well, it powers on, it loads the tape, and then it shuts down. So it's doing pretty much what the other one did. I did actually get this one to run once where it would just play. but it doesn't want to do that now. You can tell, I think, that it is a cheaper model as well because it doesn't back the tape away from the head when it was fast forwarding, unless that's just part of the power issue. Ah, unlike the other VCR, this one will actually eject the tape. This VCR does seem to have some dirt in here. Maybe that has something to do with it not playing super nice either. You can always tell it's a cheaper VCR by its weight. Well, I think this is another one for the VCR doctor. We're not going to smash this one to blithereens. SVHSs aren't as easy to come by, but I don't think there's much else we can do with it. Though maybe a good cleaning would make it work right, but we're not going to attempt to do that right now. So, no reindeer games again. What a shame. So, your VCR has just ate your tape, and you're like, oh no, what do I do? Well, we're going to show you what to do here. You want to make a splice on a diagonal with a small piece of tape. And this isn't recommended, only for like home movies, emergency fixes. And make sure that you keep it on the back side because otherwise it's going to hurt Mr. Head, and you really don't want to hurt Mr. Head. Except you don't have the splicing kit. And there you have it. Spliced fixed tape. Let's talk about rewinders. Some people are alright with rewinding their tapes in their VCRs. If you have the model where it actually pulls the tape away from the head when it fast forwards or rewinds, that's fine. It's not really going to wear anything out. But if you have the models where it leaves the tape against the head, that's eventually going to wear the head out. So we have here a beta model and a VHS model. And this particular VHS model is a very unique model because it will do both rewind and fast forward. Most of the VHS rewinders that look like this, except the door is longer, they only rewind. And some of them you had to really watch because they wouldn't pop up when the tape was done, so then they put a lot of tension on the tape. So let's put a tape in here and see what it does. It's even got a handy dandy little counter. It definitely needs a little schmutz, but it works in both directions. Never actually used a model like that before. That was rather exciting. And then we have the beta model. These are very unique because Most people don't even think of a VHS rewinder, so they think even less of a beta rewinder, and there weren't nearly as many of them made as the VHS models. Most people just rewinded them in their VCR. So let's put it in and see what it does. Oh, that one is so much quieter. They actually made these models that for VHS at least, that looked like cars. I don't know how I feel about a car that's a VCR tape rewinder. Slow and steady wins the race. And then when it's done, it just pops out. Well, from all of us here at Is It Broke, Is It Fixable, or Just Plain Durable, thanks for watching this year. Look how far we've come. We've covered the CED, we've covered AM stereo, using the splicer, color television, film strips, Edison. We've covered all sorts of things, including what we did today. We thank our donors for their contributions. We thank you, the watchers. We also thank all of our sources of information. Have a honky-tonkin' Thanksgiving, Christmas, and New Year.